Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Pete Woods and you're watching Hgv TV. Hgv TV is a community online news channel, news and events channel based in Hexham, Northumberland. And we put on events and tell people about things that are going on locally that will be of interest to them. So if you haven't seen Hgv TV before, you can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube, and also on Instagram. So today we're very lucky to have with us Sarah and Chris from TyneRede Accountancy, and they're based in Bellingham in Northumberland. And we're going to be talking about some of the main points that have come out of the recent spring budget and how it will affect local businesses. So firstly, I'm going to bring on Sarah, who's going to tell you a little bit about TyneRede Accountancy. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for having us here today. It's good to be here. So yeah, I'm Sarah from TyneRede Accountancy, and Chris is going to join us again in a bit. We're based in Bellingham, up in North Northumberland, and we're actually in the process of securing a second branch in Haltwhistle at the moment. So there's some exciting things going on with us. Yeah, as Peter said, we're here to highlight some of the key points that came out in the budget last week from the Chancellor. So we're just going to really touch on ones that we feel are relevant to local businesses. Yeah, I think we'll all agree that the Chancellor had quite a hard job last week. It is a bit of a crucial time. There is a feeling that we're all kind of at the beginning of the end at the moment. So I'm going to kick off with self-employed support. So this is for sole traders and partners of partnerships. The fourth grant was announced last November, and it was brought up in the budget again. It is going to cover February, March and April. You'll be able to apply for this from the end of April. And there is one change to the eligibility for this fourth grant that wasn't present the first, second and third. It is going to take into account your profits for the 2019-2020 tax return. So this is a bonus for those that became self-employed after the 5th of April 2019. They're going to be included in this grant now, so that's great news. We have got clients that are going to benefit from this that didn't in the previous grants. So that's great news. The fifth and final grant is going to cover the period from May to September. This there is further guidance to be announced on this, but you'll be able to claim this from July. We know that this grant will be calculated differently to the first four. This is going to, obviously, you by then will be past the 2020-21 year end. So this grant is going to take into account your turnover for that year. And it will be based on turnover. If you're, at the moment, the guidance states that if your turnover has been affected more than 30%, you will be eligible for 80% of your trading profits. And then if it hasn't been affected by 30%, then it will just be 30% of trading profits. So it does raise the question, were then first four grants, are they going to be counted in the turnover test? At the moment, them grants aren't counted in the VAT registration compulsory threshold, so they're not counted for turnover there. So that does suggest they won't be counted towards your turnover here. However, it is just a wait and see on that one. So another few things that I just want to raise on personal tax. Obviously, unlike corporation tax, the personal tax and NI rates didn't actually increase in the budget. They do remain unchanged. Obviously, the personal allowance does go up slightly this April. That was already planned and that will happen this April. However, after that, the personal tax threshold and the higher rate tax threshold is frozen until 2026. So you could say that this is actually an indirect increase. They haven't increased the rates. However, yeah, people are going to be paying more tax. There's obviously the minimum wage rising this April. So people are going to get more pay. Obviously, the personal threshold has, the personal allowance hasn't risen all that much. So people are going to be taxed more. And also pay rises are going to push people into the higher rate bracket. So yeah, it is a bit of an indirect increase, I think, on that one. I think the budget did provide much needed hope for the hospitality industry, particularly where we are in the North Tyne Valley, being so close to Kielder Water. A lot of our clients rely heavily on tourism over the summer months, the months coming up. So there was good news on the business rates. The retail, hospitality and leisure businesses, the business rates payment holiday is going to be extended till June. And then after June, there isn't going to be a kind of a cliff edge that you go straight back to paying your business rates. There's actually going to be a reduced rate for the 9 months, the remainder 9 months of next tax year. That's going to be 1/3 of your normal business rates bill you'll be paying. And I think that is a much needed soft landing for them businesses. We've got to remember that businesses aren't going to be operating at full capacity straight away. We are going to expect social distancing measures in place for quite some months. So that is that much needed, that soft landing. Also, the hospitality industry, the VAT rate, the 5% reduced VAT rate, that's been extended to September. And again, no cliff edge after September. From September to next March, it's going to be 12.5%, and then return back to 20% in April 2022. That is applied to accommodation, food and non-alcoholic drinks. For hospitality industry, that's a big help. Unfortunately, it's not on alcoholic drinks. The VAT registration threshold, the Chancellor announced that that is going to remain 85,000 until 2024. So what I would say, if you are in the hospitality industry and you're not VAT registered at the moment, but you are close to that threshold, particularly with this year's staycations are quite popular. So we would urge you to be keeping an eye on that threshold, and it is worth noting that it's on a rolling basis. So you need to be looking at the most recent 12 months. You don't look at your financial year, it is the most recent 12 months. Just keep an eye on that. There was a restart grant announced. So businesses open up after these current restrictions lift. Non-essential retail businesses that are open up in April could be eligible for up to £6,000. Hospitality businesses, accommodation providers, leisure, personal care and gym businesses could all see up to £18,000. Now these grants are going to be received on your rateable value of your business premises. And these grants are also going to be provided to your local authority. So at the moment, Northumberland County Council are awaiting further guidance on these. So I can't give you a date yet as when you can claim them, but the Northumberland County Council website on the Business Hub is constantly being updated daily. So that's a good place to be looking. I'm now going to mention the Apprenticeship Grant. So you receive a cash payment and 95% support of the study fees, the training costs. That was already present before the budget, but it's now been extended until September. And as of the 1st of April, any apprentice taken on, i.e. the employment contract starts after the 1st of April, you'll receive £3,000 towards that, plus the 95% towards the training costs. So that's great timing for people finishing school this year as well, that perhaps don't want to go to university. So I would say that a lot of businesses are in survival mode at the moment. It is kind of make or break for a lot. However, this budget has provided not only the means to survive these next few months, it is trying to provide the means to grow in the future. And it is a great time for businesses to be stopping and thinking, if I can survive, what is my plan? Where do I want to go? How do I want my business to grow? And take advantage of these schemes if you can. So perhaps you could be thinking, okay, I need some more plant and machinery. Chris is going to touch on that grant soon, but if you can perhaps buy some more plant and machinery, use the Restart grant to fund that, and then you might need another member of staff. Could it be an apprentice? Then you could take advantage of the apprentice grant. So yeah, it is a great time to be questioning this, and also talk to your accountant about this. Your accountant is there to advise you and help you, and you should be having open discussions with your accountant about these issues. Just one more thing I'll touch on before I hand over to Chris. The Hgv levy, there is a lot of haulage contractors in the area. That levy was frozen in August 2020, and it's actually been announced that it will be frozen until July 2022. So that is a 2-year payment holiday for that levy. So that will affect a few people around here. And now I'll just hand over to Chris.
Thanks very much, Sarah. Hello, Chris.
Hi, Peter.
TV.
Yes, so I'm going to be summarising the things that were introduced in the budget, mostly for companies. So I'll start off with probably the best news for lots of companies, and that was the job retention scheme, i.e. furlough, was set to end at the end of April, and there'd be a lot of lobbying by businesses to get that extended, and it's been extended to the end of September, which hopefully will fit in by the economy growing and taking care of itself by then. However, in July, businesses have to make a 10% contribution, and in August and September, 20% towards cost of the unworked hours. But hopefully the economy will have picked up by the summer, and there'll be no requirement for furlough by September, because that's what everybody's hoping. The next thing, which was like, say, the sting in the tail, and pressed lots of limit company business owners, is the increase in the corporation tax rates from 1st April 2023, which is obviously 2 years in a few weeks' time. Any companies earning £50,000 or below will continue to pay 19%, which is 70% of all companies in the UK. So for lots of people, there'll not be too much pain and nothing's changed. And then any company earning more than £250,000, which me and you, Peter, are both thinking that would be nice, I'll pay the full rate of 25%. And in between 50,000 and 250,000, there'll be a tapered rate, which is obviously going to be more than 19%. Another bit of good news is that any companies that are making losses at the moment, you can carry that back 1 year. But for trading losses between the 1st April 2020 and the 31st of March 2022, you can carry losses back for 3 years, which gives you more flexibility. Obviously, nobody wants to make losses, but the last year's been difficult for lots of businesses, and having some more flexibility, everything helps. The other thing that's been talked about a lot since the budget, and Sarah's already mentioned, is that there's an incentive to kickstart the economy, and there's capital allowances called super deductions, which is going to be 130% of qualifying expenditure on capital expenditure, plant and machinery, things like that. So that means for every £100 you spend on capital items, you get a deduction of £130 to set against taxable profits. And the final thing for me to mention is the more from a personal point of view, and that is the stamp duty land tax holiday. It was coming to an end at the 31st of March on purchases up to £500,000. This has been extended to the 30th of June, and from the 1st of July to the 30th of September, it's been reduced to £250,000, but there's still a holiday on that amount up to the 30th of September, which is all good news for people that were trying to get properties bought before the 31st of March, and saying that the solicitors are taking too long to get things through and all these sort of things. They've now got an extra 3 months or potentially 6 months. So that's me said what I'm going to be saying, and I'll hand you back over to Sarah.
Thanks very much, Chris. You're back with us, Sarah.
Hi. Yeah, it is worth noting that the Chancellor did announce in the budget a massive amount of money. I can't remember the exact figure, that HMRC will have a workforce tax with combating abuse of these financial schemes. So in particular, the Self-Employment Income Support Scheme and the Job Retention Scheme and bounce back loans. There has been a lot of speculation about fraud on the bounce back loans in the press. I would urge you to speak to your accountant before you take up these schemes. Again, open conversations. We are here to help. That's what we're here for. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly note that on the end there. But yeah, thanks for listening. I appreciate it's not really exciting content, but obviously there is scope for exciting growth going forward. If anyone does have any questions or want to get in touch with us, then feel free. We also do update our Facebook page regularly, and we try to keep all our followers informed via there, so it'd be worth giving that page a follow. Our website is TyneRede Accountants, www.tyneredeaccountancy.com, and I'll put that in the chat box here for anyone listening.
Well, Sarah, thank you and Chris, thank you very much for talking to Hexham TV. It's been a pleasure to have you both on talking about the future for businesses. It's been a tough year for businesses, and lots of businesses will be pondering the best way forward. And clearly, they'll need expertise to help them in terms of investment and staffing and what they should do best and how they can best take opportunities that may arise. So it's really good that TyneRede have taken the opportunity to offer this service and come on and talk about the recent budget. And please do come back and join us again on Hexham TV. So I'm going to close it down there, and the recording of this presentation will be on the Hexham TV YouTube channel. And if you want to watch it back or to share it with friends, then please do. So again, Sarah and Chris from TyneRede Accountancy in Bellingham, Northumberland, thank you very much for talking to Hexham TV.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.